What are some key things that we need as humans to survive? Food and water. What is becoming increasingly difficult over the last few years to buy? Food, and in some cases, even water. It can affect a lot of people. Many of us are struggling right now, and I am no different. I make jokes that sometimes I can't afford to eat for a couple of days. They aren't jokes. You know my situation, but for those that don't, here's the gist. Because of my mental health issues, I don't live with my family full time. I have to live in a flat. It's essentially a circuit breaker for me. A place where I can do my work, a place where I can de-stress. At least that's what it's meant to be. And it was for a time. Now I just hate it here. Main reasons are obviously that I don't see my family. But I know deep down it's a situation that works for us. It's what we need to do. But it also does mean that when I am here, I can barely afford to feed myself. Now, this doesn't mean that my own family, my wife and my kids, can't feed themselves either. My wife's fortunate enough that she has a job where she can still make ends meet for the food shop. So Thursdays to Sundays, I do eat there. My parents also invite me over for dinner on a Monday night before I go to my sport group, which I'm very grateful for. And most of the time, I get a couple of things taken away so I can at least have something over those other couple of days. So if it wasn't for them and other things that I'll mention later, I realistically wouldn't eat. But I do the food shop for my family on a Friday. And I'll look at the items in the supermarkets, and like a lot of people, I have this thought. Can I justify paying that? I never think about that for my family, but I always think about it for myself. So what foods or drinks can I no longer justify having because of the cost? Well, here's my top 10. Number 10, cereal. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. However, I'm now being priced out of it. Even own brand cereals, I look at the prices now and I genuinely don't think I can justify paying it. Which also ties into number 9, milk. Used to love my milk. Now I look at the price of a 2 pint or a 4 pint and think, for the time that I'm going to be in the flat versus the cost of what it is, there's no justifiable reason for me to pay that amount of money. Number 8, takeaways. A slight cheat, but it does count to what I can't justify to do anymore. We all deserve a treat. If you're working Monday to Friday 9 to 5, you deserve to have money in your account where you can get a treat maybe once a week, once a month, doesn't matter. You've earned that. And families that live together and have a 2 household income are struggling to justify that. That isn't fair. It's not right. I understand takeaways are also being affected by these rising costs that just don't seem to stop. So I'm not blaming them specifically. They're doing what they have to do to stay in business. But with costs going up and wages not rising to match that, is there any wonder why so many places are closing down? We can't afford to get takeaways. A lot of people are probably thinking, well, takeaways are bad for you. You don't need to worry about it. But it's still people's jobs that are on the line. And I look at it now and I really do think that a takeaway is not justifiable for me to pay anymore. The ingredients for said takeaways I also can't afford. Number 7, fresh meat and poultry. People say to you that you need to buy meats and poultries or fish if you live on your own, but batch cook it because it'll last you a few meals and it costs less in the long run. It doesn't, because now it does cost too much. I can't justify it. I look at the price of meat and poultry now, unless it was on a very cheap reduce to clear, it ain't going with me. So I had to factor in a couple of things. Time at the flat versus the amount of meals that would create. Most of the time, it doesn't equate to a good solution for me. So once again, I talked myself out of that. I can't justify it. And families are also doing the same. Maybe used to think about getting a Sunday roast for their dinner, and now look at the price of said meat and go, not a chance, we're just going to get something out of the freezer. Number 6, fruit and veg. Fruit and veg has always been a bit of a gamble. Some supermarkets do not bad fruit and veg, some not so good. But even the ones that are not so good, their prices are so high now that it's hard to justify it. They say you need to eat, 5 fruit and veg a day? You can't afford 5 fruit and veg a day. How the fuck am I going to be able to eat it? Number 5, toiletries. Just for clarification, this doesn't mean that I don't clean myself and look after myself. I do. I just have to be more careful and more rationed with how I look after myself now. Because I look at the price of things like shower gels, deodorants, toothpaste. And I used to get branded stuff because most of the time you think if you get branded stuff, it works better. That's what I'm saying I can't afford. I can't afford like the branded toiletries that I used to like and used to work for me. I have to go own brand, bargain basement. Do I feel good about doing it? Not really. Do I think it's had a knock-on effect on how I view myself and my appearance? Yes. It's only just recently that I've only started getting like a proper haircut again after 5 years of just shaving my head because I couldn't afford that either. So if I make a couple of sacrifices for the toiletries so I can afford a decent haircut, what you have to do. Number four, coffee. One that I actually don't feel as guilty about not buying, but I'm worried that it's going to affect someone very important to me, my wife. She loves her coffee. My wife and I will have a coffee after we get the boys from school on the days that I'm there. Have a coffee, have a chat, just catch up. A little bit of me and her time. I mean, it's something that I really love doing. But have you seen the price of coffee now? Extortionate, and it's probably going to be even higher by the time any of you watch this video. It makes you wonder how coffee shops still manage to stay in business. But I'm probably better off without caffeine, in all honesty. My head's already a mess. Number three, biscuits. I'm a muncher, or at least I was, and I was always usually caught with my hand in a biscuit tin. But I can't afford those biscuits anymore. One brand I've noticed it particular with is Kit Kats. Kit Kats used to be like a very basic staple. A pound for a packet of six or a packet of eight, something like that. And those prices have skyrocketed lately. I used to love a Kit Kat and now I'm looking at any type of own brand alternative I can get. Number two, soft drinks. Again, something that is probably better for me in the long run. I don't have as much fizzy juice now because I can't justify paying it. Look at Coca-Cola. They've reduced the quantity down to a litre 75 and the price is up to about £4 a bottle. I just get diluted juice because it lasts me longer and I pay a lot less for it. Number one, which has been the biggest hit for me, is chocolate. I always say this line: I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. So I'll be damned if I'm going to have a chocolate bar every now and then. Yeah, that's what I used to say when I could afford it. I can't afford chocolate anymore. It's the one that I always look at and I constantly see the price go up. With other supermarket brands or other supermarket items, sometimes you can look and see a little bit of a stabilization. The price will go up for a little bit, it'll stagnate for a while on the price it is, and then maybe it'll go up again, but not that frequently. Chocolate is a completely different ballgame. I notice it in one of the branded shops that I go to. It's at a price, then it gets reduced to their type of special offer price, but change what the original price was meant to be to a higher price. And then when that deal ends, it goes to higher price. But because chocolate is seen as such a staple of people's lives, it's such a staple of my life, that you ride it out and think, well, I'll be damned if I can't afford to buy myself a bar of chocolate. Well, that dam broke for me. Then I started looking at the own brand stuff thinking, maybe that'll be a bit cheaper. Maybe that'll be a bit better. No, that price is going up too. And it's heartbreaking. It won't be just heartbreaking for me, but many people who love chocolate. You'll get the other side going, well, at least you won't get diabetes. You know what? Something's going to fucking kill me. I don't care what it is. Give me a bar of chocolate before I snuff it. There are alternatives for people that are struggling. In Britain, we have the app Too Good To Go, which has honestly saved me from starvation quite a few times now. For anybody unaware of what it is, it's an app where it helps to stop food waste. I've done that a couple of times. It's been a massive help. And there's also food banks. But that's a huge problem that we have to rely on food banks just to keep us going. It's not right. It's not okay. What right do I have to walk in and get a food parcel and take away food from a family that really needs it? And people tell me, Andrew, you do need it. You need it because you stay all the time, you can't afford to eat if you're on your own. But a part of me just thinks maybe I had it coming. I swithered on whether or not to make this video because even though I try and promote talking about things that are on your mind and trying to boost your mental health, stuff like this is still hard for me to admit. It's reminding me how badly I fucked my life. But if I don't do these videos, if I don't talk about this stuff, I feel like I'm letting my own mission down. If I don't talk about it, someone else won't talk about it. And in this instance, I think a lot of us are going through this. There are families that are constantly feeling the squeeze and feeling the pressure when it comes to their food shop and their daily living. It doesn't just affect people like me. And one last thing I want to say, like I do with all these videos, they're not meant to be pity parties. I know I'm in a shit situation. I'm just saying it to highlight some realities. If people ask me to head out and I can't, this is probably the reason why. But as I said at the start of the video, if it wasn't for my wife, if it wasn't for my parents, and others along the way have donated, I would be in a lot worse situation than I am now. And to all of them, I say thank you so much. So take care.